ourselves and never leave. Young enough to feel it, feel the touch that's making us believe it. Frozen now, this moment that we're still in. I wanna drive with you.
From Ships Have Sailed, and I'm taking a little break from making noise in my Silver Lake studio to give you an interview on OneAvenue TV. So the first question is, why did we use the name Ships Have Sailed? It's actually a really good question. It goes directly to kind of what the project is all about. So when I started putting together the first EP, it was kind of a collection of songs that didn't fit with anything else that I was doing. And it was also kind of a transitional time in my life, and I was kind of reflecting a lot on these transitional times and kind of how you don't know where you're going to end up in this crazy life that we're living. And there's a common turn of phrase, that ship has sailed, and I decided to take that and put a positive spin on it to kind of describe the fact that you don't really know where you're going. You may wind up in a completely different place than what you thought, and it might be amazing. And so I decided to call this project Ships Have Sailed. So how did we meet and form the band? Well, like I said, the band was formed kind of, initially it was just a little collection of songs that wasn't really a fit for the project that Dan and I were both in at the time. And I didn't really want to let them go. I felt an emotional connection with the songs, and I decided to just start producing them on my own in my home studio. Dan and I were pretty good friends at the time, and so he was one of the first people who I invited over to kind of listen to what I was doing. His reaction was just simply, wow, really cool. What are we going to call it? And that kind of ties into the previous question, because then we had to figure out a name. All right, so tell us about our backgrounds. How did we become musicians? Well, without speaking too much for Dan, I think it's safe to say that both of us have always just been very drawn to music of all types. I know my mom tells a story about me when I was 3 years old, barely learning to put full sentences together, and she walked into the room. I was like playing with blocks or something, and she really loved classical music at the time, and she was playing a Vivaldi violin concerto. And she walked into the room and describes me humming along to the record under my breath, and she says I was humming along flawlessly. At 3 years old, you know, that's a pretty early connection with music. And from there, you know, over the years I experienced different types of music, classics, Beatles, Zeppelin, Hendrix, all the way through, you know, my tween years were in the 90s, so I loved the grunge era stuff. And then, you know, really everything in between, as long as it's like good, compelling, emotive, and well produced, I tend to love it. So we have a really wide range of musical tastes, and I feel like that comes through in our music. Alright, so do we have any upcoming concerts? Yes, of course, we always have upcoming concerts. This summer, we are lucky enough to be hitting the road to an extent with the International Pop Overthrow Festival, which is a touring festival that tours around, and the name kind of says it all, International Pop Overthrow. We're going to be performing with them in San Diego, Los Angeles, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, and Vancouver in British Columbia. Very excited about that. I believe we also have an appearance scheduled in September at Venice Wave Fest, which is in Venice, California. It's an outdoor festival. It's free. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then always we add shows to our calendar as things arise. Just hit us up on Facebook, and you can subscribe to our Facebook events, and that's the best way to stay in touch. Oh, this is a fun one. Who would we like to collaborate with? Like I said, we have a pretty wide variety of tastes, so my personal top three, I think at this point, would be Ryan Tedder, amazing songwriter, amazing producer, One Republic is killer, and I would just really love to get in a room with him and kind of combine forces. Butch Vig, who was the producer that put, arguably put Nirvana on the map with Nevermind. Crazy producer, kind of in a different style, but like I said, you know, it takes all kinds. But he's a brilliant man, and I would love to collaborate with him as well. And then, you know, I've been having a little bit of a creator crush on Halsey this past year. I think her album Badlands is brilliant, brilliant production, brilliant songwriting, and of course her voice is stunning. So yeah, I'd love to put my head together with hers and see what comes out of that room too. I think that'd be cool. Alright, so moving on, our new EP Whispers was released last month. And the question is, what is the theme and inspiration behind Whispers? That's a great question. So we are known for, or we're becoming known for, really large, intricate productions. And our first two albums really kind of encompassed that. And Whispers is completely the opposite. It's all stripped down, it's all acoustic, and kind of the inspiration behind that, or at least the grain of the idea, my little sister was getting married and she asked me to play Out of Time, which was a track off of our album Mood Swings. She asked me to play Out of Time acoustic at her wedding, and the original version of Out of Time is a really big production, lots of electronics, and so it kind of forced me, of course I was honored and touched, and I wanted to do a great job and make it beautiful. But it was a little bit of an interesting process, stripping all of that away and making it just kind of playable with a single acoustic guitar and a single vocal. And so I got up on stage at the wedding, I played the song, and afterwards she gave me a huge hug and she was like, you know, you really should consider recording it like that. Like, I loved that. You know, it was a great song, fully produced, but I really feel like I could hear the emotion with everything stripped away. And that kind of got my wheels turning. So Whispers is a 5-song EP. It has 3 reimagined versions of previous songs on there, Out of Time being one of them. And then we wrote 2 brand new songs that kind of lend themselves more to the bare bones, raw production style of that EP. It was a little bit of a departure for us as far as the production style goes, and it was a lot harder to put together than what I originally thought, but I couldn't be happier with the result, and we're really excited for everybody to hear it. Alright, I think that's just about it. The last question is, what is one thing we want to say to our fans out there? Simply put, thank you for being fans. Thank you for allowing us to share our emotions with you through our music. And thank you for supporting us. Thank you for interacting with us online. You know, all of these things, all of this music, we wouldn't be where we were without you, so thank you for that. If you haven't heard our new EP Whispers, please do go check it out. It's everywhere where digital music can be sold or streamed, so iTunes, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Spotify. Check it out, and on your platform of choice, please do leave us a rating or a review. We love hearing from you about what we're doing, because it makes us stronger. It makes us think more about how our music is perceived from other viewpoints aside from our own, which is a tough thing for an artist to do, and so we really depend on you guys to give us that feedback. So thank you in advance for that. I'm Will from Ships Have Sailed. Thank you for listening, and make sure you catch me on the OneAvenue TV app. To feel it, feel the touch that's making us believe it. Frozen now, this moment that we're still in. I wanna drive with you. Nobody else around to keep the dream alive. I wanna drive with you. Nothing to slow us down. Out on the streets tonight. I wanna drive with you. Nobody else around to keep the dream
you.